Welcome back to The Wedding Buzz. It's your host, Sydney, and today I have a very special guest, Kaylee Magee, who is a photographer, a content creator, and a recent bride. And most importantly, she's also my sister-in-law. I don't know if that's most important, but to me it is. Anyway, today we are going to dive into her experience being a bride, especially because she's seen the behind the scenes. She works a lot of weddings with me. She is in the photo and content creation world, and then she got to experience being a bride herself. So I'm so excited to dive in and hear her experience with all of that, and also talking about what it's like with the emotional come down after the wedding. The post-wedding blues are real. So I'm so excited that you are here. Welcome, Kaylee, to The Wedding Buzz.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited that we finally are doing this, that we got you in here. And I think that this is a perfect time because you got married in April. So it's been, almost 2 months?
Almost
2 months. Time flies.
It does.
It does. Well, let's start at the beginning. Let's talk about, how did he propose?
So let's see. I kind of knew it was coming. He had asked my dad a month before. So I kind of knew it was coming. We had a couple dates where we both took off, and we went up to St. Augustine. He was being very secretive about what we were doing. So he just told me, get dressed up. We're going to go to dinner and a show. And then dinner and a show turned into, it's two separate things, and we ended up taking a sailboat ride out at sunset.
Nice.
And I thought, if it's not now, I'm going to be a little upset. But
yeah. Didn't he do it towards the end of?
He waited until we got back and docked and everyone else got off of the boat.
Oh, okay.
And then he was like, oh, how about we ask them to take some pictures of us? And we have it recorded. I looked so awkward.
So he kept you waiting until the very end.
The very end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's, Bryce, when he proposed, it was Christmas. And anyway, there was a little box. He had a bunch of presents, and there was one little box. And I was like, it looks like a ring box. And then I opened it, and it was tickets to, it was in Tampa. There was tubing, snow tubing, real snow tubing in Tampa. And he was like, we're going tubing. And I was like, yay. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're an idiot. Why did you think he was going to propose? And then he turned around and did it. But you were probably thinking the same thing. Why are we on this sailboat at sunset in St. Augustine if you're not going to propose? If not now, then when?
Literally.
But he did it. He did
it. Yeah.
That's so sweet. So that was last August, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you had about 8 months to plan your wedding, which I feel is a good amount of time. How did you feel about the length of planning?
I felt like it was a good amount of time. My childhood best friend had 7 months, mm-hmm. and she did it all pretty easily. So I was like, okay, 8 months. I feel like that's a good amount of time. I didn't have too much time to overthink every mm-hmm. single little thing, but definitely towards the end, I was like, oh my God, did we get everything? Is everything done? But yeah.
I feel like no matter how much time, the end, you're always going to be like, what? Even after this, we're going to a rehearsal. We have a wedding tomorrow. That bride, the past couple of weeks, every time I talk to her, I'm like, how are you? And she's like, I'm stressed. And I was like, why? Everything's good. I promise. And it's little things her, rehearsal dinner dress, came in or it didn't fit. And so she had to go back to alterations. And I'm like, that's nothing I can help with, That's personal stuff, not wedding planning stuff. She has all her family in town. And so there's always that last minute stress. At the very least, she has me to take the actual wedding and vendors off her plate. But I think the last minute stress is always normal. I will say this weekend, this bride hired me in February of 2024. Oh, wow. So we've had a long time to plan, which, I love working with them, but I will say, I think it's too long. Mm-hmm. I really feel like I see a lot of people stretching it out, and they're like, I don't want to be rushed. And I'm like, but then it's just too, I don't know. It's just kind of on and on, which look, if you want a long engagement, whatever, I'm here for it. I don't care.
Yeah.
But you don't feel like 8 months was too rushed.
No. And I've always known I wanted a spring wedding. I wanted the pretty springy colors and florals. And so I told him, hey, we can get married in April of 25 or we can wait until April of 26. And he's like, oh, no, 26 is way too long. I'm like, okay, I agree. So
Yeah.
I was like, well, then we got to get on it. And it all came together super well. Within like 3 weeks of being engaged, we had our venue picked out and booked, and it all just like falls into place after that.
It does. It does fall into place. And I mean, vendors do get booked up, but I think like 8 months is still a good amount of time. With 8 months, I think you just don't have months and months to waste, which I am like, let's get her done, you know, like let's book the vendors. I'm a pretty fast decision maker. I know some people are much slower. So if you're a really slow decision maker, part of me thinks having a shorter engagement will just make you make the decision. And I see it in every bride. Like once they pick their florist, finally it's like, whew, weight off the shoulders. Like it's make your decisions. I'm not saying rush into decisions. Think about them, be happy with them, but also like just make a decision, because then it's like one more thing to think about off your plate. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad that you felt like you had a good amount of time to plan and that you weren't, you know, super rushed or super dragged on. I feel like 8 months was a good amount of time. I had like 13 months, and a little bit was like, is it ever coming? Like, so you've worked lots of weddings behind the scenes. Do you think that working those weddings behind the scenes helped you, or was it added pressure, or how did you feel about that?
It definitely helped me. I've worked all kinds of different weddings. I've worked backyard weddings. I've worked weddings where it was all karaoke and not dancing. And so I've seen a lot of different stuff.
You worked in Palm Beach with me. That was very like elegant, upscale too.
Yeah, I've worked Palm Beach weddings. I've worked super high-end Ocala horse venue weddings. So I kind of have gotten like a taste of a little bit of everything. And after I got engaged, every wedding that I worked, I was like, okay, so this worked at this wedding. This didn't necessarily work at this wedding. And this is something I think I want to add. And so it kind of just gave me those ideas and that added like forethought of, okay, this works, this doesn't. This is something that's my taste. This is something that's not necessarily my taste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that I think the experience behind the scenes definitely helps. I mean, there's a little more pressure maybe of you know, you see what has gone wrong and you want yours to be right, but I think that it is helpful. So I'm glad that you thought so too. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the actual planning process. What did you find fun, and what was maybe like hard about it? Was any of it fun?
I would say most of it was fun, for sure. I already had the idea in my head. I knew I wanted a spring wedding. Mm-hmm. I knew I wanted certain color schemes. Ever since I was a little girl, I had the Pinterest board of my future wedding. Yeah. And I feel like for the most part, I got what I wanted as a child. Maybe less super Disney theming and a little more just subtle garden fairy tale.
Yeah. It was very classy.
Well, thanks.
It was very pretty and classy.
Yeah. So I definitely enjoyed picking out all of the different decor options mm-hmm. and stuff like that. And my bridesmaids were awesome in helping me and being on their game and knowing okay, this is what color bridesmaid dress we're getting. We're going to pick our style. We're going to get it. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
That's good.
I don't know if there was anything too stressful. It took a while to find an officiant. I was worried that we were going to have somebody just get ordained.
Officiants are surprisingly more expensive than you would think.
They are.
I think that was part of your struggle, because you could have found some people, but you were this is ridiculous. I don't want to pay. no offense to officiants. I'm sure that they work really hard and they spend time prior prepping and all of that. But it's like, I don't want to pay more for an officiant than I'm paying for like my flowers. Like
Literally.
It's kind of crazy. So I know that that was a hiccup for you. I know the flowers was a little bit of a hiccup for you. I feel like the prices are just a little shocking.
They are.
But a lot of work goes into the flowers, so I see both sides. I definitely see both sides. Mm-hmm. I think your mom was definitely feeling like I could do this myself, and she could. I'm sure she could. I think it's just you don't realize how busy you are that day.
Yeah.
You know, like now the day happened, it's like what we did set up ourselves. You know, we did the candles, your, you know, like memory wall, guest book table, all of that stuff alone took a good amount of time. It's like, can you imagine if your mom was doing the flowers? Like when would she have done it? I mean, so I think that was maybe another hard part, was just trying to get, you know, quotes that you guys like felt happy with. That's always a not fun part of planning for most couples. And the thing is, no matter what level you're at, there's always a budget. I have a couple right now that their wedding is going to be well over $100,000. They're still upset about quotes we're getting back, you know? Like it's because what her and her mom think they could have gotten for $100,000 really would cost like $150,000, you know? So every bride has that financial comfort zone. And unfortunately, our dreams don't always fit into our financial comfort zone. But I think that we really accomplished.
Definitely.
Like, it turned out really pretty. I was pleasantly surprised with your centerpieces and stuff on the wedding day. Were there any moments of like overwhelm or decision fatigue? Were you just over it at any point?
Definitely towards the end. I was like, someone please make this decision for me. There would be little things, and I would just look at my now husband like, please, like, figure this out. Like, I can't, like, from the beginning, I told him, you're planning the honeymoon. That's not, I'm planning the wedding. You're going to plan the honeymoon because I can't do both. And so wherever we go, it'll be fun. I'll have the time of my life. Just you plan it, please.
Yeah. And he did good.
Yeah. He did really good. So,
yeah. That's good. Yeah. I'm glad that he took something off your hands for you. Because it is a lot. I mean, I get asked, I've talked about this on the podcast before, like, do you deal with bridezillas? And I'm like, I mean, I deal with some high-stressed people, but they're dealing with a lot of stuff. They're dealing with everyone's opinion and a lot of money and, like, a lot of decisions. So I feel for brides. It's a lot. So, yeah, that's a great idea. Make him plan the honeymoon. Make him take you on vacation afterwards. Mm-hmm. Were there things that you thought would matter that really didn't, or, like, vice versa?
I think some of the little things, like the bar signs and the memory wall and what guest book option do we choose? Like, at the end of the day, I didn't see any of that in person. I've seen like pictures and videos, but like, you know, I didn't really get to see any of that, which is also something that people don't tell you about, is you plan the entire thing yourself and you see like a fraction of it. But
that's why you got to get a good photographer and a good videographer so you can relive it afterwards.
Yes. So excited to see the rest of the pictures.
Yeah. I mean, your sneak peeks are gorgeous already, but I'm excited to see the rest too. But it's true. You know, I mean, I didn't see my guest book my wedding day. I don't even know where it was, to be so honest. Like, I could not tell you. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember what my guest book was. Oh, I guess we had a little book of pictures. But I don't remember. And the thing is, the guests don't. I mean, they're like, oh, look, a book, sign it, move on to third day, you know? Were there things that you thought wouldn't matter that really did?
I don't think so. I already knew from being like in the industry.
I think the past year, you like learned a lot too, like working weddings.
Definitely.
Were there things working the weddings prior to yours that really shocked you? That you were like, oh, I'm glad I saw this behind the scenes?
Honestly, not that I can think of. I think the setup stuff, which was a lot of what I was trying to tell my mom. Like, she's, oh, we can do this ourselves. We can do that ourselves. I'm like, but who is doing it? Because while things are getting done, you're getting pictures zipping me up and like all of that little stuff. Like, you just got your hair and makeup done. Do you want to be now running around sweaty, like setting stuff up?
If your venue lets you in the day before, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Go in your leggings and t-shirt, sweat your butt off, set up. Who cares? I mean, if that's how you want to spend the day before your wedding. But if you're trying to, you know, stay in your financial comfort zone and you're like, I could do this myself. Okay, do that. But your venue only let us in, 2 hours prior?
Yeah.
So we couldn't set up before we had hair and makeup done. So we had to do hair and makeup and stuff first. And then you're in crunch time those 2 hours before. And who wants to be running around a sweaty mess?
Yeah.
I was kind of running around on your wedding day. Props to your hair and makeup people because my makeup stayed. I don't know how. But, and we didn't even do that much like DIY or anything. It was just the normal stuff, your guest book, the memory wall, those kind of things. So now talking about the actual wedding day, what were some of your favorite parts of the day?
I think definitely like the getting ready vibes. All of my girls were like so hype the whole day. Once we like got to the venue and we had a little bit of downtime, we were making TikToks. Everyone was such a good sport.
Did the Princess Diaries one. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I had a whole list. I was like, we have to do these. But that was the priority. The bridesmaid first look. My first look with my dad, he had me almost like bawling my eyes out.
Same.
Yeah. And then the ceremony, like I kind of blacked out for part of it because I was just like, this is actually happening right now. But
again, why I love a good photo video team because you get to rewatch it and you get to relive it. And I feel like that's when, but you didn't get the video back yet, right?
I haven't.
So that'll
so excited for
be
it.
really good.
Yeah.
Make a little date out of it. Like, I don't know, have a nice dinner, get some champagne and like sit and watch it together. I feel like that's when you can like soak it in again, you know, of course, be in the moment, but we can say be in the moment all day long, but it's a lot. It's a lot going on.
It is.
Did anything unexpected happen?
Yeah. After the ceremony, we did all of our family photos, bridal party photos. We started doing Mr. and Mrs. photos, and something hit me. I don't know if it was the heat or what, but I just like really started to not feel well. And I was like, we've got to get out of this heat. I've got to get inside. And then that just like ended up taking a little bit longer and kind of postponed the reception starting. And so it kind of got everything off track. So then people are eating and the photographer's like, let's go back out and take more Mr. and Mrs. photos. So then we come back in and it's like, okay, now the party has finally started. But it felt like it took so long to get to that point of the party, like finally starting.
Yeah.
And I know my DJ was antsy too.
I know he's like, can we start playing stuff? That was definitely a bummer that you didn't feel well. You know, I think we made the best out of it and made it work. I think the only real downside is that your venue had a hard like cutoff end, so we couldn't keep going. I feel like even your DJ would have been like, I'll stay another hour, like, you know. But the venue had a hard cutoff, so we couldn't extend. And so that was the only downside, is that it made like the party a little shorter. I think it was still great. It's not like you didn't get any party time, but things happen on wedding day, unfortunately, and you're not the first bride that has not felt well for some of the day. And again, there's a lot of pressure, and we're in Florida. It's hot. It is so hot. And so timelines are crucial, but building in like flexibility is also crucial. So that if you need to switch things around or take a minute, that you have that time. Was there something that you were really glad that you did or wish that you did something different?
I'm really glad we did private vows.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I forgot you did that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
It was one of the sweetest moments ever.
Aww.
I felt kind of weird, and I wondered if it was going to cut too much into the day, which I don't feel like it did. It was nice to have those few minutes to sit down away from literally everyone except for the photographer and videographer. And
I even walked away for that time. Were the photo and video people like right there with you, or did they kind of back up?
Photographer kind of like walked around. So to paint a picture, we were sitting on two benches in this kind of like very heavily wooded part of the garden. So we didn't have like anyone really around us.
It was very secluded.
It was perfect. Those are some of my favorite pictures.
Aww. They're really, it is cool. It's like, it's definitely like a scene from a movie.
Definitely. So the photographer kind of like walked around and kind of got like through some of the trees, like that kind of thing. But the videographer, I'm pretty sure, like stayed there. But I wasn't like thinking about him
now
being there. That's what.
And he's not thinking about anything either. He's checking his camera and being like, is it recording? Is the audio good? That's what he's thinking about.
Yeah.
But I love that you guys did that because I know that you were a little worried about, saying your vows in front of everybody, which, some people, Bryce and I did it in front of everybody, but you guys wanted it to be private. And I loved how you guys did it. I know that we were talking prior to your wedding about doing it. You didn't do a first look, so you didn't want to see each other prior. So I know that we had talked about doing it like kind of around the corner, like where you could hold hands but not see each other. Are you glad that do you think that you would have been happy with that? Or are you glad that you could like see each other like face to face and that you did it right after the ceremony?
I'm really glad we did it right after the ceremony. I felt kind of weird, like, oh, well, now we're like already married, but we're going to go like say our vows to each other. Mm-hmm. But it honestly wasn't that weird. It was kind of nice to just like sit down for a second. They're miking us up. We're like, oh my God, we just got married. And now we're going to have this super personal experience with each other.
Yeah.
And it was really sweet. We got to just sit there next to each other and look at each other and watch each other cry and all of that.
I almost like it better that it was after because those nerves of before went away. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you did it the way that you did. I mean, I wasn't there. I saw it from afar, but I wasn't there for it. But from what you're saying, like, I think that it was such a special moment. It was nice that you guys could look into each other's eyes, hold each other's hands, and like the nerves from right before the ceremony were like gone. So you were able to relax. I'm glad that you were happy with that part of the day. Mm-hmm. Was there something that you wish you did differently?
I don't think so necessarily. It did kind of suck, like, not having as much time as I wanted to party. That's the only thing that I, like, look back on the day, like, man, I had such a good playlist, and we only heard half of it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it happens, and I know that, like, I already went into the day with that expectation, like, something happens at every single wedding. And most of the time, like probably 90% of the time, the guests don't even realize. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel like guests noticed. Do you feel like guests noticed?
No.
So,
no.
Yeah. If that's the one thing that happened on the day is we got cut maybe like 30 minutes of the reception, like I'll take it. It could have been something bigger.
It definitely could have been something bigger. It was not that big of a deal. I will say if you're listening, you're planning your wedding, keep it in mind. If you're feeling like, oh, the reception time is short, like it'll be fine, maybe extend it 1 more hour. Definitely. Give yourself the time because I don't think you're ever going to be upset that you had the time, but you definitely might be upset that it was cut short. So is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. It was a stunning day. Everyone had fun. We still had time to party. We still did your grand exit. Like, not any reason to look back and be upset. But if you were to redo it, maybe you would have put your ceremony an hour earlier.
Yeah.
If the venue would let us. I guess we would have had to pay to extend, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been worth it. I don't know. But my opinion on it might be different than your opinion. So everyone needs to just think about it for themselves.
Exactly.
So now, post-wedding blues. The wedding day's over. Tell me about this. When did you start feeling these post-wedding blues?
This is going to sound so sad. And like, don't get me wrong, our honeymoon was amazing. I had the best time. We went on a cruise. We had zero worries, but it definitely like hit me then. We also went on our honeymoon a week after the cruise, or a week after the
Wedding.
Yeah. So I think probably that like a week after I was like, wow, that happened. I like waited so long for that day and now it's just come and gone. And like, what now?
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes and goes too. But
I think it's hard because it's for most women, not to be stereotypical, but I guess I'm going to be. For most women, it's a day that we think about since we're little. You know, maybe there are some guys who think about it since they're little too, but I know my husband, I know your husband, it's not something they dreamed about. So for us, it's something that we think about. We have our Pinterest boards starting in like high school, and then it's one day. And you put so much thought and effort and prep, and then it happens, and then it's like, oh, it's done. And then every like new idea you see, it's that like, maybe I should do that at my wedding. It's like, well, it's done. It already happened. It's done. And I think it's normal. I mean, what were you feeling? Just like sad that it's over, or like a woulda, shoulda, coulda, or just like that being a bride is so exciting and now it's just like, well, now what? What were your what have been your feelings, and has it changed over the last 2 months?
Initially it was kind of like, wow, it already happened and now it's over and I never get to do that again. And I mean, I'm super satisfied with the day.
Yeah.
Like it was everything that I ever wanted. But it's kind of like, wow, that's it. I just have like pictures and videos to like relive it, you know?
I know you were on the fence about doing video. I know you didn't even get your video back, but do you think that you're glad you did it?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I am so glad that I got video. That's something, even as a little girl, like my parents had their ceremony recorded, and I would pop in that VHS all the time and like watch their ceremony.
Something that we added like literally the week of the wedding, or maybe 2 weeks before, was they were always going to do the ceremony, but staying for the private vows.
Yeah.
Are you glad you got that on video?
So glad. So glad. And I haven't even seen the video, but I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we have our little vow books, but it's not the same.
I think I'm assuming he cried. He better have. He cried when you walked down the aisle. I have a video of that. I went against all wedding rules, and I was definitely in the front row with my phone, like getting that video. But sorry if you're mad at that. But I was gonna say hearing the emotion in his voice and yours, and like seeing his face like as he's saying it is different than reading the vow book. I'm so glad that you got that on video. I can't wait. Well, I don't know if I'll see that part, but still, the ceremony, I'm excited to see all of it. Why do you think it hits so many brides, even if they had an amazing day, like these post-wedding blues?
I think it's the excitement. You have all of this excitement. Your engagement period is so exciting. You always have something to talk about. People are always asking you questions. I would literally be at work, and my coworkers would just be like, so what's new, like, with the whole wedding planning process, like, asking me a million questions. And now it's kind of just like, I feel like that annoying friend who constantly talks about her wedding. Like,
you're like, so at my wedding, that's me.
yeah.
Always, well, because I'm in the biz, but you're not annoying. You're allowed to talk about your wedding.
Thank you.
You're not annoying at all.
Yeah. Just that, like, build up of it. Like, all of the emotions, everything, all of the excitement, and then the day happens, and then it's, like, done. And you don't have anything like that to look forward to. Maybe, like, friends' weddings and, like, stuff. But
no one cares about their friend's wedding as much as their own.
Yeah.
Is that bad to say?
I don't think so.
I think it's true. Everyone cares about their own wedding more. Is there anything that's kind of helped you cope or, like, move forward?
Definitely, like, having things to look forward to. We bought a house and closed, like, 2 weeks before our wedding. So moving in together, we didn't live together before. So, like, living with him now and, like, having a new routine and, like, new things to do, a new town that I'm in. The whole, like, homemaking process, getting the house, like, feeling like home, just, like, new things to look forward to and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that is good to keep in mind is, like, okay, your bridal era is done. You had a beautiful wedding. You're a beautiful bride. But there is more in life to look forward to. You know, you have your house. You guys are living together. Maybe one day you'll have kids. Like, there's so much more to look forward to. Just this chapter is closed, but the book's not over. You guys, I know you, like, were around him a lot, obviously, beforehand you got married, but, like, you know, stayed at his place, he stayed at yours, whatever, but you're living together for the first time. How is that going?
It's been really nice.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I've been working from home a lot, and he has a very odd work schedule, so he'll leave super early in the morning, and then he'll get home, like, couple hours after I roll out of bed, honestly. So it's been really nice. Just, like, being with your best friend all day, every day. And
That's good.
I'm so happy.
Good. I'm glad that you're happy. So he put his clothes in the hamper?
He does.
He does. Do you?
Most of the time.
Sometimes I'm like, Bryce, we have to clean the house. And he's like, it's all your stuff. I'm like, what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. Clean it up.
Yeah.
Clean it with me. But sometimes he's like, it's your, like, what do you want me to clean? It's your stuff. I'm like, okay, fine, touche.
It's like when it's our stuff, there's just, like, an object permanence, you know? Like, oh, I don't see that, but I see your mess.
Yeah, right? Exactly. But I feel like that's part of marriage is, like, sometimes it's, like, not just physical, like, mess around the house, but sometimes it's his mess, his problem, his work, whatever. And it's not my mess, but as his wife, like, I'm here to clean it up with you, you know, and then vice versa. Sometimes it's my mess, but I'm overwhelmed. And as my husband, like, I could really use you to clean up my mess with me right now. And I think that's, goes way beyond just, like, the physical mess of the house. True for the mess of the house. Just because it's my dishes or your dishes or whatever, let's just be a team. But I think that goes far in marriage as a whole. Is there anything about marriage in the first 2 months that has surprised you or anything? Or it's just you guys are smooth sailing in honeymoon land?
We're definitely still in our honeymoon era.
That's
Everyone
good.
talks about how marriage is so hard. I don't see it. Talk to me in a year or two. I might have some things to say, but so far it's just smooth sailing.
That's good.
Love being in the newlywed era. That's what I tell myself. I'm not in my bride era anymore, but now I'm in a newlywed era.
There you go.
And it's different, but it's still exciting.
Yeah, no, it is exciting. And I think marriage is hard, but it's also amazing to have your best friend. I think that marriage is hard because life is hard. And so it's not necessarily that the marriage, I mean, some marriages are probably real hard, but it's not necessarily that the marriage has to be hard. It's just that life gets hard. And I think once you're married, then you guys are life partners, and it's almost like business partners, and you start doing like house stuff and taxes and whatever all together, and that like gets tied up in the marriage. But I think it is a good thing to notice. It's like, wait a second, is this marriage hard or is this life hard? Because life is always going to be hard. So let's not let this turn into marriage is hard, you know? But I'm glad that things are smooth sailing. I'd be concerned if 2 months in you were like, I hate him. That would be pretty bad.
That would.
Okay, what is one piece of advice for future brides that you would like to give them?
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Know that something most likely is going to go wrong. Just like in any other day, something typically goes awry in your day. Just because it's your wedding day and you think you have it planned to perfection, sometimes, most of the time, something small happens. Your guests aren't going to know. If it's something small, your guests aren't going to know. They don't have the timeline in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
So just don't sweat the small stuff. Be present. Be super present. That's something that I honestly applaud myself for, is I felt so present. All of my girls kept coming to me like, you are so relaxed and you're so calm. And I'm like, wow, like no one ever tells me that. So, but yeah, just be present.
You, even like when you didn't feel well, you handled that I was a little like, oh no, is she going to be mad? Like, is she going to be upset? Like, and you're like, yeah, it's whatever. It's fine. And I was like, oh, okay. We're rocking and rolling. Okay, we're good.
Yeah. That's the only thing that happened that day. At least it was me and not like him or one of the girls or something, you know?
I would have rathered it be one of your girls, but that's okay. I would be like, okay, you go sit down.
Yeah.
No, but I'm glad that you had a really positive attitude, and it was a bump in the road. It wasn't I don't know what I'm trying to say. It wasn't like, it did not ruin the day. It didn't, no one knew other than us. Like, it was fine. It was good. And you were able to, you know, hydrate and rally and party.
Yeah.
Even went out afterwards. So it was a good day. It was a great day. I ask everyone that's on the podcast, I should have warned you about this one. Do you have any wedding day horror stories? And it doesn't have to be about your wedding day. Anything that comes to mind when you were working?
I do. There was a wedding that I worked that they had so much stuff. And I was just like a day of assistant. And there was so much more stuff than I thought there was going to be. And I think even the lead planner didn't realize that there was going to be that much stuff. And I think if we had one more assistant, they're probably like, it wouldn't have been as stressful, but it was also like they have so many decorations that we didn't know about. And now the venue is making us, the caterer is telling us that's not our job. The venue is telling us that's not our job. So we're having to polish and set every single water goblet, champagne coupe, silverware, everything. Had to set everything. And then this, to just cap it all off, was also the wedding that was all karaoke and no dancing. So
you're like, after all this, I gotta listen to you sing?
Literally.
Ay. Well, that is, I mean, it is really important to figure out who's doing what job. And I know people overlook it a lot. And when I'm asking couples like, okay, so you bought this yourself, who's setting it up? Or you got this super cheap catering quote. Woohoo! Are they setting the tables? Are they bussing the tables? Are they taking the trash? How many servers are included? Oh, none of that's included. Okay. Like, we got to add all that in. So it is definitely something to think about. And thank God that couple had you guys there to do it. And it was kind of hell for you guys, but at least it got done. If they didn't have you guys, that would have been pretty bad. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to join me. Oh, real quick, we need to talk about your business. So you do photography and content creation. You have helped me with a ton of weddings. If you look at my Instagram, like it's all Kaylee. Thank God for Kaylee. But if you guys are looking for a photographer or a content creator, definitely reach out to Kaylee. Tell me about your business and I don't know, anything that you want to share.
Yeah, so I do portrait photography, not necessarily for weddings, but for like families, grads, couples, that kind of thing. And then I've started breaking into content creation for weddings, events, pretty much anything that you would want, like your business, anything you would want content creation for. So yeah, that's super exciting. I've been loving doing it so far.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, every time you send me, the content from a wedding, it's so fun. And you can take all the different like video clips and turn it into 100 different videos, or 100 different like TikToks and reels. And it's just nice to look back on. And if you are a bride or groom, it's so nice to have the content, just to see those like raw, real emotions and things that happen on your wedding day. And then another one that you said is businesses. Like, I mean, my business is weddings, so it's kind of a combo, but it's been so helpful for me and my business to have clips that you've taken and the content that you've put together for me, to share. Cause I mean, I feel like social media is everything these days, especially for growing a business. So, if someone has, and it doesn't have to be wedding related at all. But if you have a business that you're trying to promote, definitely consider getting some content done and content creation done. And Kaylee's a great option for you. So where can people find you?
Find me on Instagram, Facebook. It's at Kaylee Lauren Photography. Website pending right now. In the process of website.
But Kaylee Lauren Photography on Instagram and Facebook. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad I got you in here. This was fun.
This was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And now we're going to go do a wedding rehearsal and a big old wedding tomorrow. So it'll be a fun weekend.